there it is. We're live.
Whoop, there it is. All
There
right.
it is.
Whoop, there it is. What the hell?
Hey, what's going on, world? It's me again, Ethan Smith, aka Big Sarge, large and in charge of my one and only self, taking myself up off the shelf to explore my greatest wealth. You know what it is. I know it's a different data for you. You like, man, what are they about to do? We about to do grunt speak or speak grunt. You know, I'm still stuck on grunt speak. It's just a part of me. But we're about to do speak grunt by grunts for grunts, where everybody welcome, but everybody cannot and will not be a member. You got to hold a certain MOS identifier. You know what it is. 11B, 11 Charlie, 0311 for my Marine guys. And I know it's a couple scouts out there that shout me out. I don't remember your MSQ, but if you 11B and you infantry true blue, then we talking to you. We talking to the family that surround you, that support you, that love you, that care for you, and want to see you get through. And that's what we do, man. We get on here and we speak as grunts about things that's real in life and how to get it right. And today we got a special guest with us today. One of our grunt brothers from around the way goes by. I call him a ton of things. Goo. Hey, you get your ass over here. I call him a whole bunch of stuff.
One of my favorite ones was fucking push.
Yeah. I don't know if I need two of my former soldiers on here, man. But Victor Mike is joining us today. So we like to thank him for tuning in today. And then, of course, you know I got with me the man, the myth, the legend, Whiskey Charlie. Whiskey Charlie, hold that thought for a second and we'll let our guest introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself. And then once he's done, you just go ahead and chime in, Whiskey Charlie.
All right, what up? Victor. Oh, man, we don't have enough time. Nah, Victor Mike here. First time on the show. Just ready to do this grunt speak, man. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it started.
Should be a good time. I'm pretty sure it will be. We usually have fun and have a good time. Whiskey Charlie, how have you been and what's been going on for you today? And maybe you can tell them a little bit while we here on the Thursday anyway.
Yeah. Well, since Sunday, last time I was on, so we only rolled 4 days this time. So special occasion is that we're trying to wind up and throw a little loop, little frago in there for everybody, and kind of be there for a certain time for everybody to be able to watch the show instead of rolling in on like 9-10 o'clock on Sunday night when everybody has to be at work on Monday morning. So we wanted to make sure that we gave everybody a chance to come in here and watch the show, get in there and chime in and let us know what you feel about the conversations that we're having and stuff like that. So the biggest thing was we were switching it up just to get everybody to be a part of the team here, be part of the platoon, the squad, whatever you want to call us. That's the whole reason why we're rolling like this right now. But outside of that, man, just today, working around the house. Today was my day off, so did some painting, did some tear out to the flooring in the house, about to do some remodel. So, just keeping busy. Never a dull moment in my life. Enjoying it though.
Never, ever a dull moment in your life. It's like when I talked to you earlier today, you remind me of my neighbors around the way. You're like those men that just cannot stop moving, always going, always moving, always grooving.
Yeah.
No matter what. I don't even know.
Doesn't work.
Say that again.
And then he says the caffeine doesn't work.
I forgot to say that. Yeah. Yesterday I had about 4 cups of coffee. After 4 cups of coffee, I was doing some work around the house, whatever else. Went to work from 12 to 11 and had 2, if not 3 energy drinks on top of the 4 cups of coffee. And I had in the morning, I had like 3 little baby kolaches my wife made for us. And then after that, pretty much the rest of the day until about 5 or 6 o'clock. Then I had like one of those mashed potato bowls from KFC. But that's all I had for the entire day.
That sound like it might have been enough. It might have held you over for a little while to be enough. I mean, what do I know?
That puts all the caffeine.
So, for me, what have I been doing in these last couple of days since we done Grunt Speak? Hey, what's going on, Tim? Thanks for tuning in, man. We appreciate that. You always show up and show out and show love to the show. We appreciate that. What's been going on for me for Grunt Speak this week? Seems like so much. I met with my mentor. I done some things around the house, getting some things situated with my father. That's becoming a transitional stage from the house to a long-term care facility. He's getting a little bit dealing a little bit with more issues going on in life right now. So I've been working that angle, dealing with that mentally and, physically and everything else. But other than that, man, really moving with that part of my life changing, kind of moving full steam ahead back into what I need to do for the business of my life and then just my own personal life and doing what I need to do at the house with the family. Goot was talking about lifting weights, and I picked up some weights the other day from a family member who had them just sitting in the garage, and I was just out in my garage before we got on the show, making room for myself to have some workout area. So you guys know the old school green tough box we using the field as our bench. I just turned it into a bench in my garage today so I can get my swole on while I'm out, walking all the pounds off. I can put some weight back on. But
hey, by the way, Big Sarge, I got a special guest coming in.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay. Well, what should we call him, man? Mullet man? I'm gonna call him All American.
Hey, what about Juliet Delta?
I'm afraid to ask, but what is Juliet?
Joe Dirt.
I like it. Juliet Delta. So here's another thing that we have going on. Enough if he was 6. Okay, I'm confused, but all right. I missed something from earlier, but on that one, Tim, you gotta remind me. So here's something that we started last week and that will continue on throughout the weeks to come. Where we talking a little about, and before I forget about that, going into our topic, what we want to talk about today. Last week we talked about, boots on the ground. Your first time arriving at 30th AG, maybe your first time being in a certain relationship, first time with a child, new job, boots on the ground, doing something completely new, having a new beginning, and what that was like for you. And today we kind of want to piggyback on that and build up from that. And before you even get to those boots on the ground, like the phases that you go to before you get there or once you get there, which in the Army we talked a lot about was the crawl, walk, run phase. It's just like a child. They crawl first, they walk, and then they run around chasing their cousins and everybody else, right? So we want to kind of talk about that. How did that affect you in the Army and how you use it in everyday life? And we want to piggyback on that with a topic that our featured guest, Victor Mike, had talking about sexual interactions, that's, and I'll let him dig into that a little bit more. And then we'll kind of go back and forth and we'll comment with you guys in the chat like we normally do. And we'll have a fun time too. Before we get to that, we got a few other things to get to. One minute win, 1 minute war. So you ask what that is. For 1 minute or less, you tell us what's something that you warring with, something that you going through that you feel like is breaking you or getting the best of you. And then for a minute after that, you need to finish up with a win. How you plan on winning that battle and overcoming that battle, or something that you won at within, this last week or so. So 1 minute win, 1 minute war. Please drop it down in the chat if you feel free to. Don't forget to share this video, this live stream, and comment too. Vic, we're going to start with you. 1 minute, right, 1 minute war, 1 minute win.
1 minute war. Okay, pretty easy. My last 1 minute war that I had just was dealing with this whole not having my family together. So that's been really tough for me dealing with that. Like, it doesn't always work out the way you want it to, no matter how much you try to force it. So it was really hard for me to keep stay positive or optimistic, even though I don't have like my kids with me, like I wanted to, because I know how important a father figure is in a child's life, and I want to do my best to be there as much, to just give them knowledge, discipline, and just guidance that a child needs, so they don't feel so lost. That was really hard. It was really hard for me to deal with that. And but the win was just, like readjusting my focus to what I can do. Not like, because I can't control other people, but I can control myself, and like I know what I can do, and what resources are available to me, what my options are. So that was my win, just being able to shift focus from all negativity, because for some reason, like, that negativity holds a lot of weight, it has like a lot of gravity, so it's easy to get pulled into a lot. It's something like a black hole or something, man. So it's hard to like refocus that into what is possible and like what the solutions are right now. So for me, that was my war, and that I recently went through. Actually, that was just like last night. But what helped me shift focus was reminding myself what I'm grateful for. Everything that I'm grateful for. So that allowed me to realign myself with all my goals and things that I needed to do, and help me get back into like a more state of well-being, more productive state, more clarity. That, and I had a glass of whiskey, so that helped.
Look, that's some good stuff right there, Victor Mike. Hey, look,
Yeah.
one of the things I've seen it on the I think it was like last week. I seen it on some type of page of some type of thing, but it says to focus more on the positives than the negatives. If you focus
Yeah.
more on the negative, it's going to be heavy weight more on you.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
you did the
Sure.
right thing by switching it up and changing over to a positive situation,
Yeah.
and focusing on what you can really control, because
Yeah.
the negative is going to become a positive if you focus more on the
For
positive
sure.
piece of it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, that whole negativity, it's almost like it's our default or something. Like it's like way too easy to give into that. It's like so fucking easy, man. To like, not even if it's like not anger or rage, it could be like sadness or depression or anxiety. But it's far too easy to just like give into that. Once you give it a little bit of attention, it starts pulling you and pulling you and pulling you, man. So it's like, so yeah, man. I mean, what I learned is like it's definitely important to like figure out why it's pulling you, why it has so much effect on you, and then just shift focus back to the, like you said, the positive. So yeah, man. It's
Hey, man,
that
that's
was
why I
my.
attempt to call it. My homeboy calls it a positive and every negative. Hey,
Mm,
before you get into that whiskey, Charlie, Tim Stryker said his war, what he's warring with right about now is his dad was diagnosed with bone marrow cancer.
ooh.
That's definitely something to battle with, as I kind of talked
Yep.
about my dad, which is part of my war as well. But yeah, that's definitely someone to battle with, man. And any way we can support you, brother, our prayers go out to you. That's definitely a tough task. But please let us know how you winning in that episode, or what you have done to win to continue to build yourself up and make it through this tough time. Whiskey Charlie, what you got for us, man? What you warring at? What you winning at?
Man, well, I think mine is still a constant war. I'm still fighting the same war I think I was doing last couple of weeks. Is of course just balancing things, and making sure I prioritize what's most important. Me got all these projects going on, and then of course I think the war would be my health in general. I'm giving up so much sleep and I guess you would say sleep and eating and stuff like that, just to do work and then come home and do work, and try to satisfy anybody and everybody except for myself. So I think that's a war on myself, and I just gotta make sure I take the time to myself. So that's a big war, and it's something that's it's going to be over a period of time that I'm going to have to keep focusing on. But win wise is, hey, shit's getting done, baby. Shit's getting
Yeah.
done.
Yep. Yep. You're still productive, man. Hey, I think that's what's called like opportunity cost. You have all these opportunities to do so many things, but like these are things that it costs you, and everything is opportunity cost, man. So it's like you said, like learning to prioritize and what you value the most. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, Smithy said, "What's up?
What's going
What
on,
up,
Jesse James Smith? So, what I've discovered, fellas, 1 minute win, 1 minute war. So, what I'm warring with, as I talked about, my father's getting a little bit. According to the doctor, he's past the first stages of dementia. So that's a battle for me because it was something that since he's been with me over the last year, you know, I notice things are different and things are changing, but it's hard to accept. You don't want to accept it. Sometimes I battle with, is this just the same acts of my father when I was young, and am I my emotions from when I was a child, or what is it? But to actually hear the doctor confirm, you know, what I guess you would consider a fear or your thoughts or things like that. That was something that I battled with. And then, you know, I thought about long-term care facilities. I'm in the middle of the show right now, bro. I can't talk right now. I thought about long-term care facilities and things like that. And then to know that you may have to take it, to know that you have to take it to that next step because you can't. I'm not able to properly care for him the way he needs. Like, that's a battle for me. I wake up sometimes praying like, God, am I doing the right thing? Is this the way I'm supposed to go? And I think I always find peace. And, you know, I'm doing everything that I possibly can the right way. I'm doing everything I possibly can the legal way. And I'm putting his health first to make sure he get the best health and then find the best locations and facilities and things like that. So that's kind of a battle. That's kind of a struggle. But the win is, like Vic was saying earlier, I keep getting up and I keep going after it. You know what I'm saying? I keep shooting videos. I keep getting out rucking. I keep on doing the things that make me happy. And I keep on researching me. You know, I keep on digging into me. I keep celebrating me. And I just keep fighting no matter what. Kind of like the infantry. You crawl through it. You walk through it. You run to the next objective. And you find a way to get it done. So almost every day in life, man, if you really slow down and look at your life enough, you'll find something that you warring with. And if you look a little bit harder, you'll find something that you winning at every day. I think the problem is in life, a lot of times they want to magnify the struggles or the shortcomings that people go through in life. And we don't know how to celebrate our victories in life. So, hey, learn how to celebrate your victories in life. And then that's when you start to see the light for your life change and you get your life right. What's up, Smitty?
Yeah. Hey, Sarge, I just got a question about that. What are the symptoms of dementia?
So what they did was they ran a series of tests, and it's really a lot with memory, asking a lot of memory questions and recognition questions and things of that nature. And then my father would be, for lack of better words, kind of delirious, not really knowing where he was at. No matter how many times you tell them, reminding them, put it on the whiteboard, you know what I'm saying? So it's a really lot doing with memory. Like, his long-term memory is fine, but the short-term memory and the stuff that's needed for like motor skills is not working the best. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So things of that nature.
So it's kind of like Alzheimer's, but with a little extra things in there.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Sarge, I think you're doing a fantastic job because you're basically doing what you would like for someone to do for you if you were in that position. You know?
Man, I did. I would, but I told my kids the other day because it's so it's a difficult task, man. The Army prepared me for a lot because my dad often asked me, like, what school did I go to? Like, what did I learn my medical training at? And my bedside manner. I'm like, nah, I'm a combat lifesaver. Like, I don't get no medical training. I'm just doing what I would want somebody to do for me and what I think is best. But I told my kids the other day, if I get to the point to where your grandfather is, what my dad is, hey man, put me in a nursing home because it's a lot of work. Like, don't put that on you unless you just want to do it. I said, hell, I'm a veteran anyway. Put me in a nursing home and let me get him hell the whole time. So,
right.
Hey, the best medical thing that we can help as infantry is give you some Advil and some water and suck it the fuck up and keep moving.
And see,
ibuprofen and water, man.
And he allergic to ibuprofen, so I can't give him that. Push-ups ain't gonna work. So.
Oh man, hey, you never know, man.
Hey, you're right.
Hey, jog memory real quick.
Before I move on, real
push-ups, you be jogging memory.
Yeah, before I move on, Tim says he does not have a win that coincides with what is going on with his father and the bone marrow cancer, but moving well with work and was approved for a home loan. Hey, congratulations,
nice.
Tim.
That's a big win.
That's a big thing right there, man. Congratulations on that home loan and congratulations for doing well at work and continuing to find a way through. Jesse James, my brother from another mother. What's going on with you, sir? What's happening? Thank you for tuning in. Please share this video. Make sure you comment down below. Jesse James say nothing much. You guys are looking good. Glad to see y'all keeping this going and adding a new guy. Oh man, you just over here visiting. We ain't decided we added nobody yet. That's too much.
Is that Jesse James, like Jesse James Smith?
Yeah,
bro?
yeah.
Hey, he posted something on Facebook like a while back, and I just got on there. I just commented, "Fuck you, Smitty." Oh, hey, Sarge. Like, there's a book that you'd probably like. It's called the Ultra Mind Solution. It basically lets you know. It kind of gives you a prescription as to what kinds of foods and vitamins can help you heal any type of mental illnesses too, and then with a lot of testimonials in there too. So it just makes a case for like nutrition and shit.
Nice. Jesse James said that 800 milligram ibuprofen for every. Oh yeah, you already know.
Yeah.
Take two of these.
Probably gonna take one right now.
Yeah, it don't get you out of a ruck march though. You still rucking.
Not on a PT test either, man.
No. Love what
a hangover won't even get you out of the
appreciate
PT
that.
test.
So jumping into this topic tonight, crawl, walk, run, and then the man, I have so much. I have notes. I'm making sure we more prepared. We just finishing the 1 minute win, 1 minute war. Let's just go ahead and jump into this topic, and we can go past some of the other stuff, and we'll tune back into it later. So crawl, walk, run, Whiskey Charlie. That was something we was talking about last week that came to your mind, and let's just you know what? Let's switch it over from that to let's just go right into the sexual interactions, and then let Victor Mike give us a little bit of synopsis, a little brief rundown of what he was thinking on that and where we at today with that in the world. And then I'm pretty sure it'll tie into our topic.
Okay, so you want me to talk about this first?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I just started getting curious as to like why I started seeing so many like depressed dudes, they're especially like the younger generation, like late teens or like early to mid 20s. And I don't know if you're aware, like 80% of all suicides are by men too, like by males. I was like, what the hell has like all the dudes like so depressed and anxious, man? And it's gonna sound weird, but from what I understand, it's a lot of like lack of sex, lack of a companion, lack of companionship and sex. And I'm like, okay, that's because we're kind of like, we're made for each other. But then I was like, why is there a bunch of dudes basically not being able to get a girl, get a girlfriend or whatever? And, I went off into like a deep ass rabbit hole, and it basically got into like, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but basically the overall testosterone in men has been on a steady decline since the 1950s. So we've been getting like weaker as a gender, but not only that, now you have like the whole sexual revolution of like the 1960s, right? Where it became all this like free love or whatever. And like then you had the birth control pill, the day after pill. So all these things made it to where basically it's okay to be promiscuous and have sex with like as many people as you want. Now, the consequences to that ended up being that, for example, the women, like we all have preferences, right? We have preferences. Like we're not gonna pick like a huge ass like sloppy ass chick, right? So obviously the women are gonna want like the top tier guys. Now the thing is, they're all going for like the 20% of guys. So now you have the 80% of men that are like left without a girl, without a chance either. So I'm like, damn, that's really it's really fucking up people's emotional state and emotional well-being. And I was reading this other book that this dude wrote, and it got published like in 1930s, right? A guy from like Oxford and Harvard, and he studied 86 different cultures and civilizations over the span of 5,000 years. And what he realized is like all the civilizations that ended up being more sexually liberated were not able to hold the high energy, basically have a lot of achievements and accomplishments. They were not able to hold that state and have all the sexual liberation for more than one generation. and then the civilization fell. The thing that caused all the civilizations to rise to be, you know, well civilized and to have all these achievements and accomplishments was the fact that they were in monogamous relationships. So and then like I saw that, and then this other new study came out that basically suggested that the more sexual partners that a woman has, the higher the likelihood of divorce, and basically she won't be able to maintain a long-term marriage, you know, long-term relationship. So there's a lot of factors that are going to play right now, and that's why like I think we're seeing like an increase in suicide rates, especially among men, and and also an increase of depression, and you know, like anxiety and all these things, especially men. Like, okay, for example, for us, like it's gonna be a little different story for us. Obviously, like we all got kids. Like we're not really part of the thirsty dudes, you know? But I mean, it still sucks for them, you know. Yeah, like the answer is always get better, but the demotivating part about that, and I can see why a lot of men are like demotivated to do anything, is because basically the more men a woman sleeps with, the more like damage, the more like psychological imprints she's going to have from all her sexual partners. So that's going to cause a lot of friction with your own like masculine frame, you know. She's going to have, and they're going to be like, it's going to cause a lot of conflict and friction. So then you got all these girls that like basically you know, have their party years or whatever, and then by the time they're ready to settle down, it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard for them to have a say. That's why more than 50% of marriages end in divorce, and over about 80% of marriages are initiated by the woman. So it's crazy, man. Like, so yeah, I mean, what are you guys? Have y'all seen the same things going on? Like maybe you know, with some of the guys that you've interacted with, you know, maybe not you, Sarge, because like, yeah, I understand like you're dealing with, like, you have your own mentor now, so you're probably dealing with a lot of men that are actually like have more ambition and doing a lot more things, so it might have like a lot less depression.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, really.
You'd be surprised with a lot of here's what I thought when you were talking about this, because I'm like, okay, what sexual interaction I didn't. And when you talk about this, just, you know, men being able to interact with women, to be able to hook up, to be able to link up, and they're being so oppressed, you know what I'm saying, and a lack of sex. And it just kept coming to my mind when you talked about that, was just the roles in the relationship. I'm reading a book right now. Where's my backpack? I've been working on this book for quite some time, and I'm reading a book, and it is a very good book that I recommend. And I suggest that all men read. I'm gonna start a book club with this book. For real. I recommend and I suggest that all men read. And it's called The Way of the Superior Man, right? David Data. I heard about this book by watching The Breakfast Club, and Nipsey Hussle was on there before he passed away. And he talked about his fiance at the time, Lauren London, told him about the book. And I picked it up. Well, a buddy of mine, I didn't pick it up. A buddy of mine had it. I seen it. I mentioned something about it. He said he would send it to me. He sent it to me. So I started reading this book, and this book really talks about roles in the relationship, the masculine role and the feminine role, and the energy, the feminine energy and the masculine energy. And for me, to be honest with you, even though I'm Big Sarge on this platform, I realize I have a very strong feminine energy based on the readings of this book. And I understand and see why things happen the way they do in my relationship. And as I dug into it and I got around more men, I talked to more men, I realized that most men that I know, or most men that I encounter, whether they want to admit it or not, have more of a feminine energy. And I believe that the reason that is that way is because a lot of people are raised in a single home by a single female. Right? So we become the company we keep. So a lot of times for a young man, especially when I was a cheater back in the day. So when women are taught that men are cheater, and when men are raised to be, you a man by how many women you lay with and you slay and you conquer and all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those is what was happening maybe with our fathers, our grandfathers, and they perpetuated the story to us. But what has happened is there's so many young men being raised in a single family, maybe by a single mom. Not to say that a woman isn't strong, because they raise some amazing children, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is you take on that trait of the dominant parent.
Yeah.
You take on that trait of the dominant parent. And when you are a man who's been talked about, you a cheater, or women have been told most men gon' cheat or he gon' cheat, and even though they accept you back, as a man now at this day and stage and age of life, for most men, I think they are more busy apologizing for who they are and not really knowing who they are and discovering who they are. So therefore, in turn, when a woman starts to exercise on her masculinity, taking care of herself, providing for herself, making the money, you have to think about this. The world has changed. 40 years ago, women wasn't going out to work like this. 1990s, women wasn't working like this and bringing home the bacon, flipping it up, frying it, everything. Cool. When it comes to that, they kind of feel like almost at an equal. And most men, we were taught what made us a man was how good we can lay it down and how we provide for the family. Now, if the woman is providing more than you providing, and she don't really want to lay it down because she's tired, you can't really prove like that. So therefore, you kind of take a step back, right? Well, so saying all that to say this, I believe the reason that a lot of men are oppressed right now, because there's a shift and there's a change in our world and in our society today. A lot of men don't really know what it means to be a man for them, man in their spirituality. And a lot of women don't know how to maybe, or haven't had the time to encounter what they consider a real man, to where they feel like they have to respect them. Because if you're a spiritual person like I am, in the scriptures that I read, the Bible don't say really too much about a wife loving her husband. It says she have to respect them, and you have to earn your respect by the things that you do. And we all know that women are good at, you've been married, you've been in a relationship. It's just some things that women do that we're not able to do. And running and organizing a family and things like that is something that we're not always able to do. So when you start to give up that power and they have to take it and run with it, then they're way out of the crawl, walk, run phase. You're still attempting to figure it out, and they've taken off.
Here's the thing, is because we're also told that we're giving this bullshit about the whole equal partnership. That's why a lot of men have to acquiesce, have to give in and submit part of their authority to the woman, because of this this whole basically lie that's been perpetuated right now in our society. So we're like, no, you have to have an equal partnership. But the thing is women aren't built to lead men. Maybe you want to make it like that. Maybe that's what you're trying to manipulate things to be like, but it's not what it is. The reality of it is that you're going against a billion years of evolution, billions of years of evolution. You're not going to win. So instead of going against nature, why don't you be in alignment with nature? So that's why a lot of men end up being depressed or confused, because then they have to submit part of their authority to the woman. And the woman, she's not built to be the leader in the relationship. She's not built to be the provider and the homemaker and all this. So you're taking part of her power away by making her go to work, So you're causing her a lot of stress too.
Almost having her do your role. And then again, it's it definitely takes two to tango, and both of y'all can be working and providing for the home. But if it doesn't break down to the simplicity of it, and I don't mean this in a negatory or a negative or derogatory way, but if there is no leader, if there's no one final decision maker, two people cannot lead. Nope. You cannot lead. And love my wife to death, and God, respect women, love women that God created them. But it's in their nature and in their DNA to control and guide and put things in order and manifest more things. And as a man, if you don't step up and know your position and be submitted to your higher power, so you can do what you called to do, then it's going to be hard for your woman to respect you.
I think that's where the hierarchy is.
Charlie? Oh, go ahead, Vic.
Oh, I was gonna say the hierarchy, like you said, even us as men, we gotta submit to a higher power. Surrender to the Most High. To the highest good. You surrender to that, and then the order of the hierarchy is basically God. Universe, source, whatever you want to call it, and then it's you, the head of the household, just like Jesus is the head of the church, like it said in Scripture. and then it's the woman. That's why it says like for women to submit to your man, you know. And it also says for the man to love your woman.
Oh, that's right.
No, I was just gonna say because I remember watching Kevin Hart, and he had mentioned the whole factor of when it comes around to being, of course, the more dominant one, in your relationship about if come around to a guy gonna go pick on your wife, the first thing she's gonna do is turn around and look at you and say, "What are you gonna do about it? Like, help me out." Like, like I understand. Don't get me wrong. Like, hey, I'm gonna give my wife, or and I respect a lot of women out there that is willing to step up and do things like that. But if you're married, most of the time they're gonna look back at you and say, "Hey, what are we gonna do about this? If a hurricane come down right now, my wife will be like, Justin, what are we gonna do?" Right?
Yep. Hey, that's beautiful. It's beautiful that she looks to you for that, man.
There's some things that we as men, of course, are prepared for mentally, and then what we also need our individual, our companion here to also make decisions there too. Because I know we talked about it earlier about with women, I think it was Big Sarge was talking about how he, that she makes the plans or whatever else. I know what to do, but hell, I do need help making those plans and stuff like that. So I think that as a correspondence, it's worked together on there, and you make decisions together. But I think ultimately, like I said, like when Kevin Hart mentioned, if you get slapped, he's gonna turn around and look at you and say, "What are you gonna do about this?" Like, look,
you better jump in.
You better jump in, or as Kevin Hart said, "Hey, you got slapped. That was you. That was, I don't know what you did, but you should have done
it." Yeah, man. But yeah, it's crazy. And like you were saying, Sarge, a lot of the reason why it's not another thing that plays into this. It's the whole being raised by mostly women, and there's nothing wrong with the way a woman raises a child. The thing is, if she's the only one for example, a son doesn't have that masculine role model to see how to be a man, then you're only going to learn how to interact in this world as a woman, from a woman's mindset. And this is my personal opinion, but like for what it looks like to me, it's like a lot of dudes that end up having a little bit too much female impressions and a lot of female, what's that fucking word I'm looking for? Examples or whatever, end up having a very feminine mindset, right? And if you start to think in your mind you're a woman, eventually you're going to start feeling your body like you're a woman. I think that's where a lot of the confusion might be coming in, like into like the whole I identify as a woman kind of thing,
Well,
and then I think what it is, unfortunately, a lot of like we're talking about, it goes so much deeper than just trust and believe me when we tell you this is not a He-Man's Woman Haters Club. We're just talking about, we're just talking about the polarities of, sexual interactions and what's going on in the world today. Like, I even think about that from an infantry standpoint. Like, that was part of the reason why I got out of the military, because they started talking about women in the infantry. I'm like, I know my mouth. I know the way I talk to people at times, whether I'm joking or I'm serious. I'm not looking to put my career in a position because although this is a soldier, it's someone of the opposite sex, and the way the military look at that is different. And I could offend somebody who has a gentler ear than my guys are used to having.
Right.
And our mindset is kind of like, in our mindset, we've been almost groomed not to ruffle the feathers of our significant other, to go along with the program so we can get all that we need. But if you go along with the program or whatever that higher power tells you to do, then you'll be fine. And what the issue is like we're talking about crawl, walk, run. For a lot of men, we never had the opportunity to crawl or walk. We went straight to the run phase. You know what I'm saying? We was led by the little missile down in between our legs and the small conversation that we got from maybe our fathers, our uncles, our friends, our brothers, or something of that nature. And this is what it takes to be a man. And then you get into a relationship and you've never really led yourself as a man to get what you want, and now you know, okay, I got my woman, I don't want to make her mad, so now she's leading the situation,
Right,
and you're
right,
wondering why it's the struggle, because like you said earlier, you have her in the role that she's not supposed to be in, but
right.
her being the woman and manifesting good things, she's going to naturally take charge of that role, and then once they get charged, it's almost hard to get it back.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like there's roles that we just function better in. Like we all have strengths and weaknesses. Like I really believe that like men and women work better together. Like it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful fucking thing. But there's a lot of confusion going on nowadays. We're like, oh, they tell women you can be a strong, independent woman. You don't need a man. I'm like, why are you trying to separate us? First of all, that's like separation right there. It's like the way I see it is kind of like that snake in Eve's ear. It's like he just doesn't want you to eat that fruit because then you'll be just like him. Absolutely. He just doesn't want you to be like him, So it's like, okay, don't fucking listen to that. That's how we got kicked out in the garden in the first place,
It's a divide and conquer.
Right, but then you got like Adam, like he didn't hold his frame. He's like, oh yeah, baby, let's do what you were like. Wait, that's a bad fucking idea, girl. No, like so. A thing like a lot of men have to realize is like just how to tell your woman no, and that it's okay for you to tell her no, and they actually like it when you tell her no, and they feel like they can trust you more if you can tell her no. It's like honestly, like it'll kind of turn them on, like that's just like an added effect, because it's like bro, like no, you hold like and it's because like you're being congruent with yourself, you're being honest, like you're not telling her yes even though you want to say no, You're not telling her yes just to make her happy to keep because you're afraid of her emotions or whatever. Which, if you go to like the deepest level, you're kind of afraid of your own emotions,
Hey man, I almost feel like you've been reading my book.
I've read it a few times.
Huh?
I read it a few times. David Data, The Way of Superior Man, is really good.
That's a dope book.
But even then, on that one, he also states how as a man you're gonna have eyes for another woman. You're absolutely a fucking guy, dude. You're gonna experience that. Like people think like, no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't like. Okay, go ahead. Like you want me to undo like billions of years of wiring just because you think I should? Like
that's a whole nother topic right there in itself that we can get on and run off in. And the thing about men and multiple wives and where did the shift come and all that. So that's definitely Rinka says and to stick to it, talking about your word. Remember, Adam still was guided by her to eat the fruit. Yeah. And here's the thing when I look about that one, Eve ate the fruit and then she offered some to Adam. It was like, yo, Adam, you turned into a straight coward. That was the beginning of not wanting conflict with your woman.
Yeah.
The chat, I'm looking at it. Is that what you're telling me, Whiskey Charlie? Yeah, that's what I'm reading. He's saying, and stick to it. Remember, Adam was guided to eat the fruit, right? And when I think about that, when I think about that, it's like, yo, as the first man, bro, you went straight turn punk on us. Like,
hey man, but like
you ain't slap it out her hand, you ain't run away. And then when God called y'all out, you was like you could have easily been like, yo, she ate the fruit, I didn't eat it, and he'd have wiped her out, probably gave you another one. But you was like, that woman you gave me. So we start blaming right then and there. And we been blaming.
Right. Yeah, it's not about blaming either, man. It could have been like, babe, I love you, but that's a dumbass idea. Let's go talk to God about this real quick.
You already know, but again,
somebody
we get caught up in that type of stuff.
Somebody had to fuck up, so we didn't. But we're still doing it, kind of. We're still fucking up. It's like history doesn't repeat itself. We repeat ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kibby says, people don't take marriage seriously anymore. It's so easy to get out of. Right. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, in marriage, it's weird. It's not the woman's fault. It's the law's fault, by the way. But a woman is basically rewarded for breaking her word. Like, okay, if she doesn't stick to the commitment, if she doesn't stick to his contract, she gets half your shit. But if she does stick to it, I guess like just bragging rights or whatever. But so they're not really, they're actually, it almost looks like they're incentivized to break the contract.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kibby says, plus some men nowadays I don't consider men. This country is so pussified.
Yeah.
Fact.
No, it is. It is
Fact.
fact.
I'm telling you, read the book. Facts. Because I think a lot of the stuff that happened is all strategically organized this way as well. So it's a divide and conquer type of thing. If there's no man in the house, if there's no protector, no provider in the house, don't get me wrong, women are the not capable, weaker but lesser vessel. You know what I'm saying? And they're definitely designed to be more emotional first than physical. Logical. When men were kind of more reactive. So if there is no man in the house, you know what I'm saying? They're getting so pussy vibe, then it definitely is different. So I want to read a quick passage out of this book, and then we can kind of go from there. And again, I know we were just talking about crawl, walk, run, and we're talking about, you know, sexual frustrations and interactions between men and women. And Vic brought up a very interesting point that, you know, a lot of men nowadays, maybe not 40, 50 years old, you know, maybe 20, 30, but a lot of men who may not admit it are oppressed, you know, lack of sex, and just maybe not even understanding their role. And it was easy for us to probably skate under the radar, or, you know, not ever pay this any attention, especially in the infantry, because everybody had to be a manly man. It was just so much testosterone going around. If you wasn't, you definitely got a talking to or made fun of. You got some form, a little bit of
it's like actually that in psychology it's called like negative reinforcement for negative behavior. And if like the infantry as a whole sees your behavior as you're being a little bitch, stop being a pussy, you get negative reinforcement. But if you do good, then you get medals. You know, you get if you accomplish things. You know, if you get better, if you get stronger, you get faster, you get like fist bump. You know, like pat on the back, a fucking medal or something, a promotion. You know, so like that's positive reinforcement. But a lot of times we don't do that here. Like for the sake of being politically correct, you can't tell somebody straight up like, "Hey, you're kind of being a little bitch right now." You know, like do some fucking push-ups. You know?
I don't know if I would survive in today's army with some of the conversations I used to have with people.
Right, man. I was like, you know what's weird? They're like, not to get political about this, but just to like, for an example, it's like when Trump was president, you know how he got caught saying like, "Oh, just grab him by the pussy" or whatever, right? And then everybody got out like panties up in a bunch over that, like. I ain't voted off for any president, so like, but whatever. Like, I'm just using it as an example. So everybody was like, they got panties in a bunch. Like, oh shit, he said just grab him by the pussy, and I'm like, damn, these are the same people that are all like support our troops. Like, don't they know? Like, that's kind of like how we talk all the fucking time. Like, that kind of shit right there. Like, that's us 24/7 when we're around each other, man. Like, especially just as a grunt, you know?
Yeah, even if you're not doing it, it's just a conversation because there's a bunch of dudes just being around dudes. And we've already been told that women is the plague anyway, so stay away as an infantry or it's an instant Article 15. So,
right.
I'm just going to let y'all know, if y'all don't recall, but today is Man Love Thursday. So just going to throw that out there.
Is that why you did this? I knew it was another reason.
That was exactly why he took this day off, so we could do this on Thursday.
That was his end game.
The fact that you bring up our former commander-in-chief brings up a question that I had for some significant events. And I don't know how significant this is, but it was significant to me as I paid attention to it. So I have, mind you, we've had the new commander-in-chief in office now for about 7 months, correct? Just about. This will be beginning of the 7th month. He took over in January, right? So about 6 or 7 months now. And I wondered, how is it that just 6 months to a year ago, when we had the former commander-in-chief in office, gas prices was like down to $1.20 in Austin. And when I paid for gas today, it was like $2.84.
It's like $3 and shit.
I just want to know what the hell?
It's like $3 and change over here, man. And I'm just gonna I'll straight up say like the new command man. He's still my president, whatever, because like that's just a chain of command. But dude's a fucking pussy. Like he's like weak, fragile. Like man, just like dude, you want a strong leader, don't you? Like this ain't it, bro. Like maybe our last one wasn't perfect either, but it's like which one was perfect? Yeah, I'm like, this is taking it to a whole new level of like, I don't know what it is, man, but I
I don't
think
know either,
that's
but
a reflection.
I
A
want
reflection of the majority.
I want the gas prices to go back down
Right,
to whatever
right,
they were.
right,
But
right.
I want to read this quick passage to you real quick as we kind of talking about this. I guess we in the run phase on the gas too. We just skip
Yeah,
past everything.
right. Hell yeah, man. It's like you just wake up one day and it's like, why am I paying over $3 a gas? Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely. So as
Yeah.
we talk about some of this, and we've been kind of quick recap talking about these sexual interactions, and not just what's going on in the world as far as all the allegations of rape and assault and things like that. Where Vic was kind of bringing it from was just young men and let's just say in the age range of 18 to 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The frustrations that's going on right
Mhm.
now, and the roles that people play, or excuse me, are in relationships. And in most relationships, whether a man want to admit it or not, the wife could possibly be, more in the masculine role than in the feminine role. Just I mean, kind of way how the world shakes out, to be honest with you. It's no point intended to question anybody's masculinity or manhood, but I guarantee you what, if you start to read this book on your own, you'll start to answer some questions for yourself about why you feel a certain way you do, or some of the things you see.
You started applying that one where he talks about like don't bust a nut.
Oh, I'm into that. I think I've already read that chapter, but I'm going back to it about holding out and everything else.
Yeah. Go ahead and circulate your energy and let me know how that works out. It's goddamn near to impossible, man. But if you can do it, man, go for it, man. Like that's just hard.
I practiced it the other day, but it was unconsciously successful. But anyhow, so all right, this is from the David Dieter book, and this again, yeah, you know how we do it. We kind of let the topic take us and see where it leads us. So this is tolerating chapter 18. Tolerating her leads to resenting her, and this is just a little opening quote passage. It says, "A man gets resentful and frustrated with his woman when she is too afraid, weak, or unskilled." Wait a minute. A man gets resentful and frustrated with his woman when he is too afraid, weak, or unskilled to penetrate her moods and test into love. He wishes she were easier to deal with, but it's not entirely her fault that she is bitchy and complaining. It is also a reflection of her lack of being penetrated by love. When a man resigns and simply tolerates his woman's self-destructive moods, it's a sign of his weakness. His attitude has become one of wanting to escape women and the world rather than wanting to serve women and the world into love. A man shouldn't tolerate bitchy and complaining moodiness in his woman, but he should serve her and love her with every ounce of his skill and perseverance. Then, if she cannot or will not open in love, he might decide to end this relationship with her, harboring no anger or resentment because he knows he has done everything he could. So when I read that, I think about, a lot of times we all as men probably has dealt with that. You know what? I don't even feel like dealing with this right now. She just complaining, fussing, and going back and forth. And we break down like, so what do you want to eat? What do you want? And you knew all along you wanted to go to Whataburger, get you something real quick, sit down. But you didn't drove around for 30 minutes trying to appease.
Have you tried their new guac?
And it's like, that's not really doing you any justice. It's only making you look, like you said earlier, it's only making you look softer. It's like, I want you to make a decision. But if you continue to do that and you express love and you express, and you're serving her and you're doing things to make it work, and she still's not, I don't want to say conforming, but she still's not compromising or meeting you, then it comes to a time and a point where you have to figure out if enough is enough and be all right to walk on. Yeah, just like a woman to walk on and she feel like she can't go with you.
Right? Sometimes you're just not compatible, man. Like if a bird and the fish fall in love and they decide to be together, one of them is gonna die. But But
Absolutely.
yeah, like in those situations, like I hear that a lot of men complaining about that. It's like, oh, she never knows what she wants to eat. I'm like, motherfucker, you decide. Like a good example would be like, hey babe, like I'm gonna go get me some Whataburger. That's what I want to eat. Unless you like, do you have another? What? Give me your input. Like, what do you what do you want? You know? Oh no, Whataburger's fine with me. All right, bet, let's go. You know, and like she loves that, man. Like she loves him, like basically your leadership. You know, your
It's
presence.
making a decision. You are
Yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to be the protector, the provider, the priest. Like you are supposed to be the leader in your home. Just spending it
yeah,
on, a military thing. The reason we conformed the way we did to basic training to the army because they was a defined leader. The drill sergeants was
yeah.
the leader when you walked into this process. You did a crawl process. You walked in, they broke you down, and they kind of built you up. It's kind of like when you get into a relationship with
Yeah.
your woman. You crawling, you getting to meet her, you getting to know her, you kind of breaking down the situation. She's breaking down things for you. And sooner or later, somebody established the dominance. Where are we gonna
Yeah.
go? We taking this next
Right.
phase, the walk phase. We in a committed relationship. This is what I will do, I will not do. Just like basic training. You win now. You in the walk phase. And
Yeah.
once you get to that point to where you marry, y'all running together. It's like a
Yeah.
marathon. I was watching,
Yeah.
who was that guy? Elliot Kipchoge, who broke the marathon in under 3 hours last year. And when you got to that place where you running at that speed, he did not do it by himself. He had a team of pacers who helped him run. So when you get to that running phase and you marry, you and your wife supposed to be passing that baton back and forth, but you have to know that you the lead and the anchor, just like Joe Dirt is the lead of America over there.
It's badass, man.
But you have to know that, in all stages of our life that we go through, and every instance of our life, whether it's either sexual interactions, whether it's moving on to that new job, whether it's making that decision for your family, you go through every stage: crawl, walk, run, in every way, and you might experience those stages at multiple times.
Yeah, for sure, man. That kind of reminds me about this book I read by George Leonard called Mastery, and he explains how it's like at every level of learning a certain skill, you go through a plateau, right? And basically a whole wax on, wax off shit, right? For a while, and then bam, you jump because you learned the skill already, you mastered it. You jump, but then after you do that quick spike, then you're on another plateau. So that's how it always is, like jump and then long plateau and jump. So it takes a lot of patience. And I think what can help with that patience is just like being aware of the process itself. Like that's what's happening right now. So just be cool because like it's only a matter of time before you experience that jump.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And all this and all that we go through in every stage, like we're talking about, that crawl, walk, run. Sometimes it comes as a surprise, and sometimes it's methodically planned. And when that jump comes as a surprise, it's like, yo, you celebrate that as well, because that's what you was working for to get to anyway. So you work towards getting in that relationship, to be with that woman and everything else, to have a sexual partner and a lifelong partner. It's like, once you approach her and you want her over, why step back? You know what I'm saying? Like, why step back and stop being in your masculine role? And a lot of times it's like, either we messed up and done something wrong, so we're making, hoping to make up, or we never, really trusted ourselves as a man anyhow. We just wanted to be with somebody.
Right. You just get to, like, a lot of guys get too comfortable. They're like, once you get the girl, they could just like, they just let go of the wheel. Like, or like, just like, they just let go. And it's like, nah, dude, like you keep doing the shit that made you attractive to her.
Yeah.
Like you have to keep doing that. And especially in a long-term relationship, man, like keep doing the things that made her attracted to you. All the shit that turned around, and keep doing that shit. It never stops. Like, unless you don't want to be in a fun, healthy, romantic relationship anymore, then you can just, at that point, you might as well just cut that shit off.
So let me ask you this question, because we really talked about, how we believe men are in this position and the role that they're in, and, a few examples of what's going on in the world and people not understanding. How do you believe people get back? How do we as men get back to that stage to where we are the ones that, leading the run for our families. We can slow it back down to a pace. Even if you got to start over. Like, I know you're not a baby and you're not going all the way back to crawl, but metaphorically, you can go back to the crawl stage. You can go back to English 101 and learn how to write a paper again. You can go read the 5 love languages. You can read The Way of the Superior Man. You can read the Bible, whatever it is that you need for you. It's like, it has to be something that you tap into to get you back recenter and refocused to help you to begin moving forward.
Yeah. For me personally, one thing, like a moment in my life where I feel like I crossed a certain threshold that really got me more centered, more level-headed, was is that I actually got it from the 12-step program for Alcoholics Anonymous. I wasn't in the program, but I just like looked through the steps, and I one of the steps is like surrender to a higher power, like whatever your God is or whatever, just like surrender to the Most High or the highest good, and you surrender to that, and then you start being like. You start being more okay, more at peace with the process, basically. And so that's one of the ways that I think that we can go back to our natural roles, like our most authentic, most congruent versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think it starts there because that's at the deepest level, is that spiritual foundation. You got your spiritual foundation, you got your psychological, then your emotional, then your physical.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I think and the tough part is getting all that in alignment, being completely congruent.
That's what I was just about to say. I think what the problem is a lot of times is, and I'll just speak for me, as a man, knowing how to really submit to that higher power that you aren't always able to see, because as men we are taught to do on our own, and we really didn't submit to many people but our own authority, our own power. We spend enough time getting away from maybe our father or our mother's ruling thumb, and then to really submit to God, Buddha, Allah, someone you cannot see or physically touch, can be difficult sometimes, especially if you had a hard time submitting to someone you can physically see. And then as a man, it's just like, you are blazing your own trail, but it is very true. When I was going through my thing in 2017, like my spirituality, getting that in order was very important for me. Even to this day, waking up and going throughout my day, like my spirituality to submit to a higher power, which I call God, you call it whatever you want to call it. To submit to a higher power, something greater than me, it was something to help me get in line, to get in order. It was like, you believed in something bigger than you. I believed in the 240. I believed in a 249 more than I believed in the M4. I believed in a 240 more than I believed in a 249. I believed in the 50 cal more than I believed in the 240. It's just like, it's always something bigger than you and greater than probably where you at and what you have. And if you believe that higher power is a part of you too, or you could be a part of it, and I think that's when you get successful.
For sure. And I think it definitely is, like, actually it's mostly a part of it. It's what like what keeps us alive, what helps us grow and everything. Is, for example, it's like you can consciously breathe, but you're not doing it. It's being done for you already.
Yeah.
Like even when you're in bed not moving, you still have all the blood being pumped through all your extremities, and you're not doing that. You're not consciously doing that, at least, but it's being done for you. Like you're already being taken care of. So that's part of like, at least for me, that helped me trust the process more, trust that higher power, because I didn't create this, I didn't take some kind of genius. Like it also helps to humble yourself, like, all right, I didn't do this shit. I could create nowhere near what like this is,
Yeah, pretty interesting. I think, the way that you have to discover, because every relationship, in every stage of someone's life is different. You have to understand where you at. Like, although me and my wife, we had a time of separation, and when we got back together, although we had been doing some running, we had been doing a lot of running together. But after a break and you get back together, you back at the crawl phase. You take a long break from school and you go back to school, you at the crawl phase. It was just like the three of us being in the National Guard. when you come back, when you go one weekend and you fall in order and you doing everything you need to do, say for 2-week AT, you on point, you know exactly everything you need to do, you full-fledged soldiering. But then once AT over and you got like a month and a half off and you come back, like a lot of Joes is in the crawl phase all over again. Like they forgot all military bearing, and it's just like you have to hurry up and speed them back up to the run phase because it's a short amount of time. But in life, you don't have to do that. Time is going to move regardless. And if you don't appreciate the time that you win and crawl when you need to crawl, walk when you need to walk, and run when you need to run, it's like playing Call of Duty. Everybody on here, they play Call of Duty. And there's a point.
I'll be right back, Sergeant. I got to take care of something real quick.
There's a point in stage on Call of Duty where you could low crawl, you could lay down, or you could run, or you could just walk. You know what I'm saying? You have to know at what stage of your life you in and what technique you need to use. Whiskey Charlie, you got something for us? You've been awful quiet and we've been talking a lot.
Hey, I'm listening and learning, and I'll speak up when I need to speak up. But hey, it's some valuable stuff that y'all putting out there. But at the end of the day, look, and I'm pretty sure Big Sarge's gonna back me on this. But I think one of the biggest things I'm actually taking from this is, of course, I got to make the decision no matter what. Whenever my wife asks me a question, whether she likes it or not, I go ahead and just give her an answer of what I feel. I think a lot of times I do step to the side and like, hey, whatever you want, right? But at the same time, if I say this is what I want and she don't want it, then she'll make the decision ultimately. So,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking it's not the fact that I'm accepting that she's always going to be right or whatever else, but one of the things that I always do is I'm like, hey, look, I'm a person that I eat everything. It don't matter to me. I can eat anything and everything, but she's more of a pickier person, so I like to leave the options up to her when it comes to that thing, because I'm more open and available for pretty much anything. That's like same thing at work. At work, a lot of associates will come to me and like, hey, I'm about to go grab something to eat. You want something? I'm like, get me whatever you get. Right? They're like, really? What if I get this? I'm like, I don't care. I'll eat it because guess why? It's free. I guess that's just how I was raised, because I even had a point that where my district manager is like, hey, man, what are you going to eat? Because he took us all out, all the supervisors and ASMs out to eat. And he's like, hey, what do y'all want to eat? I was like, don't matter to me, anything. He goes, okay, I got you. He came back with liver and onions. I've never ate liver and onions before in my life, but guess what? I ate it anyways because I'm that type of person. It's who I am at the end of the day.
Did you like the liver?
Oh my God, it was fucking horrible, bro.
Oh man. So next time you'll probably say anything but liver and onions.
ATX DJ Knox, y'all know him as Tom Ass from B Company 141. He said Thursday edition hot filer like Dylon. That's an old school Making the Band reference.
Oh, nice.
What Dylon is.
Yeah, you gotta just YouTube Dylon Making the Band, and that Dave Chappelle made a spoof of it. Yes, it's don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just look it up. Just look it up.
Yo, man. Speaking of Dave Chappelle, he's been on some shit. Like, he was calling out all the people that, like, basically, like, when women dress provocatively, right? And guys start, like, catcalling her, treating her a certain way that's differently than if she would have dressed more conservatively. And they're like, just because I dress like this doesn't mean, like, I am that, right? But then Dave Chappelle goes, like, okay, so, like, if I'm dressed as a police officer, and you're getting mugged or something, you run at me, it's like, police officer, help me. Like, just because I'm dressed like this does not mean me.
Again, it goes back to some of the stuff we talk about in the world. In no shape, form, or fashion is Big Sarge, Ethan Smith, Grunt speak, Grunt talk, whatever you want to call it, Whiskey Charlie, Victor Mike, are we condoning the abuse of women or men for that matter?
Dude. Yeah.
We're not condoning any of that. But at the same, what I want to make very clear, like Dave Chappelle was saying, if you break it down, as men, we are physical creatures first. We go by what we see. That's what we're attracted to. And if you are out there dressing in a provocative way, that's going to draw attention. And in my mind, what I see is skin and voluptuous curves. And I see you don't really, you might think a man, he's going to like that because it's everything you get to see. No. We don't want that at all. We want.
Well, here's the thing. Like you might fuck, but you probably won't keep her as a girlfriend or something like that. You know, like
definitely.
Like, there's a difference. Like there's a lot of women think that they're like, oh, all men want is just sex. Like, no, not necessarily. It's just like if that's all you have to offer, then maybe maybe that's all we'll take. Then
based on what you're dressed like is what we probably are going to think. If I see you downtown Austin on 6th Street. If I see you downtown Houston somewhere going crazy in your dress, then that may be what I think. I'm more apt to think that if you have naked than a lady in the business suit or a full jogging suit. That's all I'm saying. What you got, Whiskey Charlie?
Hey, Big Sarge. Hey, look, I don't know who exactly said it, but it says women fall in love by what they hear. Men fall in love by what they see. That's why women wear makeup and men lie.
Yeah.
That's deep. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is that Idris Elba?
Yeah.
It looks like it. But you know what? Just like learning and observing, and you know what, this like introspection or just like observations and everything, like it really helped me see that maybe I myself should have higher standards, man. So like even if I got like some hoes throwing it at me, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let me go hit the like, nah, man, like I'm just adding fuel to a fire at this point. You know, so I think like we as men, like we should also hold ourselves accountable, you know, like holding both genders accountable. There's nothing wrong with holding ourselves accountable, man. That's how we grow, you know. But if you keep telling women, no, girl, you're fine just the way you are, you don't need to change. What? You're overweight, even though that's bad for your health? Nah, they should love you for your curves, you know? Like, but if you were a dude, man, you start like, for example, we're in the military and shit. Like when I was like overweight, I got shit on big time. You know, I was like, hey, I was like, all right, but you know what? It helped me get my ass back in shape. You know, I was like, I'm gonna do something about this too. But
go ahead.
You need that accountability, I think. You know?
Rinka was saying truth, and I think he's talking about our little post. Well, we're reflecting on what Dave Chappelle said and kind of built up off of that, how we see things as men and, you know, attraction and things like that. And then Tommy had said, I have his babies. I don't know which one of y'all babies he want to have. It is Man Love Thursdays, but he's talking about
probably Whiskey Charlie. Oh, okay.
It's either Whiskey Charlie or Joe Dirt. One of the two.
He keeps alternating, man. He keeps changing it out.
Hey, look! He can have every flavor he wants. So here we got white, Hispanic, and black on here. So I don't know what flavor he's going for.
Hey, you know what? We need to get the color on here, man. That way, you know, we're even more diverse, man.
Hey, I think he's all the way covered. If we had to do Pablo, we had somebody of the Asian persuasion.
Yeah, right.
Definitely be representing a true infantry squad or company.
Everybody's gonna want to get all up on that shit.
Yeah, but you know what we talked about, what we kind of been going back and forth with on tonight. Really, we did a lot of talking about just men, women, and relationships and sexual interactions, and really just empowerment of men. And that was one of the things that in the military, you know, again going back to the Qual Walk Run. If anything, if nothing else you got out of the military, being in the infantry, you got the empowerment of knowing who you were. Like, as a man, you know, when you joined the infantry, they automatically thought you was a manly man. You was just it, especially when you came in encounter with female soldiers. It's like you deployed, it's people all around, but it was just something about the infantry. It was a different stigma, a different swag about us. It was something totally different about the infantry.
Yeah, man.
Whether you was 100% masculine man or not, if you had that 11B identifier, that's what they identified you as. And a lot of times in life, I think a lot of males get identified as men, but a lot of males may not be men because we've been
Right.
rushed through the process to crawl to learn what it takes
Right.
from a real man to walk out the process and somebody really hold you accountable to where you running off and you lead in your own family and doing the things that you need to do. So in everything that you go through in life, you got to be willing to slow it down for you, not for what nobody else say, not for how anybody else do it. You have to be willing to slow it down for you so you can make sure you get the steps and the procedures right so you could be that man that you want to be, leading your family and not feeling like, you know what, I got to get rid of her because she don't listen, or, you know, did I get out too fast because I didn't want to have any conflict? So there's so many things and so many questions that we could, you know, there's so many statements that we can make. There's so much advice or so much counsel we could give you or tell you what we think you should do or how you should do. But if you don't believe you need to do it for you, then it don't ever change.
Right. Like before you can be a leader of anybody else, you got to learn how to lead yourself first. You know
that part.
Yeah, that's a tough part because that's integrity. You know, like if you know what you got to do, the only thing left to do is to do it. You know,
that's it. Get her done.
Yeah, get her done.
Life's a garden. You got to dig it.
Absolutely. So, as we kind of finish up with crawl, walking, and running, and really sexual interactions, and as a man stepping into your role and your position, and as a woman stepping back out of the way so your man can step into his role and position. At the end of the day, as a man, you have to step up, even if you have to get with other men and ask questions. If you have to go on YouTube and watch video, I don't know. You know what stage you at in your life, whether you crawling, whether you walking, whether you running, whether you in the right stage or the wrong stage. And my suggestion for you is get in the stage that you believe that you are in right now, and then learn the stage above you and know what you had to take from the stage that was behind you as you keep moving forward and what you go through, right? So I don't really have nothing else on that. I have a few other things that we can kind of talk about real quick as we close out over this next few minutes, and then go from there. You got any closing thoughts on that, Goo, or you?
Nah, man, we pretty much hammered in on everything that we could. Like we talked about pretty much everything.
Thomas says, step up, grow, learn, don't settle for less, bring your team up. That's right. Teamwork make the dream work. That's right. Teamwork make the dream work. You know, I attempted to lead my family the same way I used to lead my teams and my squads, but my wife had this fine way of telling me, look, Sarge, we is not in the military, so we're not doing that.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Push-ups.
We ain't doing push-ups, and we not putting no rucks on to go with you. So you can think about it.
Right.
But it's all good. So some significant events is another thing that I like to bring into the show just to kind of keep relevant of what's going on in the world. And I kind of scrolled through the MSN, and another thing I came across when you were talking about sexual interactions, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know where we going with this. So I went to the Army Times, and then I discovered that the Sergeant Major of Second ID was relieved of command. They don't really call it command anymore. They call it, God dog it. I'll have to look it up and see. But he was relieved of command for alleged sexually assaulting a subordinate, you know, junior enlisted, or maybe a little lieutenant he was slapping around or something like that. But it's just like things is changing, times is changing. Even if you look in the Army, you know, us being soldiers, we've often heard stories, but never could put your finger on anything.
Yeah.
But the way the world is changing, like they're cracking down on the military left and right with all the sexual things that goes on there, and the soldiers coming up missing. And the spotlight should be put on those things, but it's just like the world is really changing, and we have to slow down and see it for what it is.
My thing is like, yo, man, just because a woman can join the military doesn't mean she should. You know, there are consequences to everything, and women tend to get a lot more psychologically damaged from those types of experiences. And it's like when you were saying how your wife was basically letting you know that you can't be Big Sarge in the family, you know, and that aspect is like, well, like your family's not a team that you're drilling, you know, like that you're not like a military team. But it's like at the same time, you don't want them to be, you know, like you're with a woman because she's like your complementary opposite almost, you know. So like it would kind of suck if she was exactly like you, you know. It'll
we
be like,
wouldn't be together.
yeah, wouldn't, yeah, exactly. So it's like, and that's one of the things I learned because of my past relationships. Is like, no, you don't want her to be like you, man. You want her to be like your complementary opposite, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, if you look at just like the way we're wired, like how we're built, like physically, like we have dicks and they have vaginas, right? So we're already built differently. Like, so that means like every single nerve ending goes to our brain. So that means we're gonna think differently too. Like we're just completely different, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Like what? No way.
100%. Yeah,
Identify as a wiener.
I thought that was pretty interesting though when I was looking through some stuff. Also something I've seen pretty, significant events doesn't affect us here at CONUS, but in CONUS areas and other parts of the world, the things that's going on over in Haiti, South Africa, Colombia, like, and each one of those countries, they're at a time, and in Cuba, they have stuff going on. Well, Haiti, the president was assassinated. They're not at.
Damn.
Their president was assassinated in Haiti. And it's a lot of talk and conversation coming out about how the U.S. government may have had something to do with that because he came forth and said that his country and no one in his country was taking the coronavirus vaccine. So they caught the people that did the assassination, and apparently, supposedly, allegedly, some of them have ties to U.S. military training and things of that nature, and American contractors in so many words. How true that is, I don't know, but I just thought that was very interesting with what's going on. And then as far as Cuba, they're kind of communist country uprising against their country, and that's something that hasn't happened in like 62 years. But what I understand is there's not a lot of this stuff on YouTube, and the stuff that you do get is because somebody bravely found a way to record it, but that country has basically shut down their communication with the outside world. So there is no internet, no YouTube, and they're talking about how at nighttime these dudes are just pretty much knocking and running up in people's houses and taking out all the protesters, and it's getting pretty ugly. And our current administration, as much as we stick our nose in other people's business, is saying, "Yo, we ain't got nothing to do with this. We just go look the other way." Yeah, then the same kind of thing is happening over in South Africa. South Africa has a lot of riots and protests and things are going on like that, and it's just like, man, I don't want to say we at a crazy time in the world, or we're in the last days, but I was walking Ruckin the other day and I was listening to Revelations, and I was listening to it in the Bible. I'm like, yo, we probably, like some people say, we probably already in the last days. We already at the end of that first death. You just, depending on how you see it or what side of it you find yourself on, because there's some madness that's happening in the world right now. It just, you're going to tune into what you choose to see.
Right. Well, the thing about that, it also says like you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but it will not come near you.
Oh yeah.
And also nobody. And also nobody shall know the end times. So that's like, and these kinds of things have been talked about since like forever, man. Everybody's always talking about the end is nigh. Like, there's always been that one guy, except now it's a lot more visible because of the internet.
Yeah, that's it. Terry Bullard said, because Cubans don't vote Democratic. That is 100% correct. Our country is not helping you if you ain't swinging the Democratic way. So, democracy, that's our thing in America. Now, if we come over here, we sign this treaty with you, got to take our democracy. And a lot of people don't want our democracy. And that's just what it is. But also we had going on I don't know how familiar y'all are. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I catch enough news clippings now to get back up on my current events. But I was checking out the rescue efforts in Florida for that building that collapsed in Miami, Southside Harbor, I think it was, Southside Miami, that they're getting ready to bring the recovery efforts to an end, because I think they said they've recovered 90 of the 97 bodies that were unidentified. And I'm like, wow, we still going through something like that here in the States, just like the people that was affected by this. It's not September 11th, but at the same time, like this is something catastrophic because so many people lost their lives. It's just like I haven't heard about a building collapsing since September 11th and the planes crashing. But this building, no, this building just straight up collapsed from hold on.
It was just like
the building collapsed due to it was pretty much defective. They had a someone come in and talk about the cracks that were happening in the foundation and the subfloors and the work that they needed to do, and that work hadn't gotten done, and the building just collapsed.
Damn.
Wow. Terry said, thanks for that information, Terry, because I didn't dig too deep. I was looking at something on the surface and I didn't want to get off on a tangent on that, but thank you. He said they haven't found anyone alive since the night of the accident. I don't know why they're still calling it a recovery. Yeah, I don't know if they were calling it recovery either. It was I forgot how many stories it was, but if you YouTube it or just look it up on your Google News, it'll come up. It was a real tragic event. Very tragic event. And then last thing that I have for y'all, and y'all can speak on this as we go in this crawl, walk, run phase. The Army is looking to run to the next phase of pay for soldiers. 12. They're still calling recovery 12. I forgot my question. Anyhow, the Army are looking to move a little bit forward in the pay. So I was on the Army Times today and I read an article that said that the Army is pushing for, some people in the Army that's pushing for soldiers to make minimum wage at least. Incoming soldiers don't even make minimum wage. They don't make the equivalent of $15 an hour. And it says that over 20,000 active duty soldiers qualify for or is using food stamps.
Hey, Big Sarge, the building was 12 stories.
Okay, I got that. 12 stories. Yeah, that's whew. And I think it happened in the middle of the night, about 1 or 2 a.m. Damn. So that's crazy. But yeah.
And that was in Florida?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty interesting. Knowing that, I don't know about y'all, when I first joined the military in 1999, I think I was getting $987 a month for base pay. And this $15 an hour is only for base pay. So we're not counting, say, because nobody ever broken down how much you make an hour in the military. So what they were saying was that base pay is not even that minimum wage. It needs to be raised to like $15 an hour. And they were going into details saying with things like BAH and other allowances and separate rats allowance and things like that, then of course it ups your pay. But if you take all that away, because we all know if you're not deployed, you're not making no money.
Right.
You're not making no money. So to think that 20,000, oh my God. Terry said when he joined in 1986, my 2 weeks pay was $365. I think the military is still in the crawl phase.
In regards to pay, huh?
They still might be in the middle of creating the baby, as far as we know, to get paid. It just ain't happening. But yeah, man, those are some significant things that I found throughout the week. What's going on in our world, man? I got a letter from the VA today. It told me that I can go get a free COVID-19 shot if I found it interesting. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think I had the same email actually.
Yeah, I got one actually in the mail. They probably emailed me too, and I ignored that one. So,
what is y'all's thoughts on that vaccine? Are y'all getting it or?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm not the only one. All right. I'm like, nah, man, I haven't gotten sick in a few years, bro. I'm good.
You're no go at this station.
Right here, no go at this station.
I'll take that and I'll still get it. I'll still pass.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but in 2000, Big Rinka said, nope. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Terry said, not doing it. Yeah, I'm not. That's one of the things I'm grateful for, that I'm not in the military right now. So I don't have to fight with anybody about not taking that vaccine.
Are they forcing people to take it in there now?
I'm
It's the
probably sure they
military.
are. You're not your own property.
Damn. Yeah, that's true.
Like
United
you're
States
gonna have
property.
to find a way out not to take it. And that just took me back to
It's against my religion.
yeah, that took me back to when we were in 2009, when we were in El Paso, when we were at McGregor, and we had to take that swine flu or whatever shot that was. I didn't take that one. I skipped through the line and act like I took it. And back then I had a little bit of rank on me, so that helped me out as well. But I didn't take that. I'm like, no, not doing that. Thomas says we're gonna let other people try it first. Yep, they sure can. And then he said you can't travel outside of the U.S. without the COVID card. Well, I'm good. I ain't in no hurry. I didn't already been outside the U.S. a few times, so I'm okay with that. And then Terry said, I'm not an anti-vax her nation person. If you need it, take it. I'm not putting nothing in my body that's not FDA qualified, approved. I agree with that. I'm not anti-vax, who I don't personally take vaccines. I don't take the flu vaccine anymore.
Right.
And I've stopped taking that for over 10 years. And the things that I put in my body, watching and learning what I eat and my health and things of that nature, I'm doing pretty well. So yeah, anybody that needs to take the vaccine, I say go for it. Knock yourself out. I'm just not doing it. We haven't figured out cancer and AIDS and all that stuff. Right. We just came together for COVID.
Right. Like, hey, we got the cure for COVID, in 2 years.
I'm not doing that.
Global pandemic. I was like, I don't believe you, dog.
Yeah, so that's a big fat no for me.
I've taken vaccines before, but like I just haven't needed them either. Like I feel like I've gotten sick less. I haven't gotten sick for years, man. And with the shit that I put in my body, I should probably be dead by now.
Terry says 80% of the deaths due to COVID were overweight and underlying conditions. I did hear those same things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's sad. But
so the actual pandemic is other shit.
You still there? You have anything you want to leave with the people as we wrap it up and close it out?
No, not a whole lot. But definitely on that vaccine bullshit. Until it's, of course, like Dave said, like Terry said, there is until it's approved by FDA or anything like that along that line. And I'll wait until everybody else stops dying from the shots they're taking. I'll take my chances, man. Hey, fuck you. And anybody else who wants to come up, like I hear about them coming up and Joe Biden talking about people coming up knocking on doors. Come on up here. I'm gonna let you know the same thing, man. My fence is locked. You can stand there and yell at me for my fence, and I'm still gonna be mowing my grass.
Yeah, I hear you. Rinka says once FDA approved, then it will become mandatory in the military. So to answer your question, it's not mandatory right now. But once it's FDA approved, I hope you ETS and before then if you don't believe in it. But,
man, I think it's fucked up how they're even allowing people to take it right now if it's not FDA approved.
That part.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, so who's giving us this shit? The government.
That part.
They haven't approved it yet. Yeah, but they're doing it anyways. Like, all right. Now knock
good
yourself
on
out.
that.
Dog. I'm good. Yeah.
They already working on the yearly booster? Yeah. No, I'm good on that. That part. Nope. So that's gonna be a negative for Sarge. If the COVID get me, I'll take my chances with fighting it off naturally. I survived Iraq, I survived Egypt, I survived Detroit, I survived a host of other things. Be all right. I've been sick a number of times in my life. I mean,
you do live in Austin where there's a whole bunch of AIDS and stuff like that.
God damn.
Here's my thing.
Bad news over here.
I take my personal package and I stick it in one mailbox. So
that's the best way to be sure, man. Hey, but nowadays to cuff you one like top quality is gonna be tough, man. That's another thing. I don't know if you said you're wrapping up already, but maybe for next time, man. Like how social media has like blown up like fucking 4s and 5s into thinking they're 10s and dime pieces, like because all these fucking simps and fucking betas, man. Like, but I guess that's for another time, man. But that's
what's up, Big Sergeant Rinka. Big Sergeant Rinka said he already had the COVID and survived. I'm good without the vax.
I already developed the natural immunity then.
Well, First off, we want to thank Victor Mike for tuning in and joining our show today.
Thank
Who
you,
knows?
guys.
Maybe you'll see him again one day. We don't know. But we thank you for coming on and enlightening us with this amazing part of a topic, sexual interactions and how things do. Yeah, how come nobody wants to know where it came from as far as the vaccine goes? Because they said the COVID came from Hunan, China, but yeah, I don't know. Nobody's asking that question. I think in our country now, what the military really taught me to be is not to volunteer, not to be a puppet. And a lot of people in our country now are puppets. They said stay in the house last year, everybody stayed in the house. They said come back outside and don't wear a mask. Everybody came back outside and wear the mask. I told my wife, I said, when they said wear the mask, I did not wear my mask. When they said don't wear the mask, I now wear my mask. So
I almost got kicked out of a Sprouts for not wearing my mask when this whole shit was first starting. I was like, fuck this. I was just walking around without my mask, and I just had like this old dude in a wheelchair like, hey, where's your mask? And I pretended I didn't hear him. I just kept walking away. Dude started chasing me in his like electric wheelchair like, hey, he doesn't have his mask. I'm like, you fucking bitch.
They're all sheep. That is very true, man.
That's why I need to
follow. And it's so funny though, too, because I had stopped where I had got comfortable and wasn't wearing a mask either. And my wife was like, babe, you remember you said so? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I did say that. I need to start putting mine back on a little bit. And then I was looking at something when I was doing this research, and it was saying that throughout the United States, that COVID rates are up 50% than they were last month. So, like, here we go.
Yeah, but you don't have to wear your mask. Like, fuck it.
No, and it just, for me, it's all about a feeling. I think I do it just because most people are not doing it. I do it. But it just depends on how I feel when I get out of my car and if I remember it. If I don't have it, I ain't running back in the store like you used to have.
Wait, do they still require it in Austin or what?
They're not required in Texas.
Texas, right? Okay, yeah, just making sure, man. Like, I don't wear my mask anywhere.
It's what's the name though? It's up to the discrepancy of the business owner.
Right.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't even go back and forth and fight with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was in a Dollar Tree one day and I actually seen a worker tell a lady, hey, you don't have to wear that anymore. You don't have to wear that. And the lady was like, yeah, I'm a nurse and I work in the ER. And she was like, and I've had the vaccine, but I think I'll just keep mine on because we're nowhere near out of the water yet with this. I'm like, ooh, if she works in the hospital, she's wearing hers. That should tell you something. Rinka says, not in Michigan anymore. So y'all don't have to wear y'all's in Michigan either.
Hey,
that's
man.
Pretty cool. So it's kind of opening back up. We'll see what happens. But hey, that's all I got. It's been an amazing hour and a half. Y'all got to let us know what y'all think about Thursdays around this same time at 20:30. Seems like they have a little bit more people active, and maybe that works out. And we will repost this for Sunday at its normal time, just in case you didn't catch it all or you missed it. It'll be up on the Grunt Speak Grunt YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to that, go ahead and subscribe to the Grunt Speak Grunt YouTube channel. Let me say this right. The Speak Grunt YouTube channel. Make sure you click the little bell so it'll notify you when we go live on the show or when we post a new video. This has been Grunt Speak Grunt by Grunts for Grunts. Where everybody welcome.
How do I share this?
I will not be a member. What you got?
How do I share this? Like to Facebook and shit.
Go to your Facebook page and go to the Speak Grunt page, and it should show us playing live, and then just click the share button.
All right, bet.
All right, well, I'll let you share it before I turn it off because once I end the broadcast, I don't think you'll be able to share.
Okay.
He will.
He will?
Yeah, he'll be able to.
Oh, well, there you go. So, anyhow, Rinka said he liked Thursdays. Yeah, Thursdays feel pretty good, and Whiskey Charlie like Man Love Thursdays anyhow. So, yep, there he goes. There he goes. So, y'all have a great.
You got that on camera, huh?
Yeah, I did get that on camera. Hey, man, y'all have a great night. We thank y'all for tuning in, and we will be back to do this again. Peace. Y'all take it easy.
Peace out.
2, 1.